Alright, good evening. If you're new here, welcome. My trail name is Waldo and I hike with just the bare necessities. And the bare necessities is what I'm going to be talking about in this video, which is the ultralight backpacking gear which I'm bringing with me on my thru hike of the Continental Divide Trail, or the CDT. So the CDT goes all the way from Mexico to Canada, through New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, a little bit of Idaho and Montana. And yeah, I'm going to be leaving on this trip really soon. I'm starting on May 10th and hoping to finish some point maybe end of August or beginning of September. And I am planning to bring pretty minimalist gear. You know, I just did the Arizona trail with a 5.5 pound base weight, and there are a few extra things which I need to bring on this trail. So if you've seen my gear videos on the Arizona trail, I'm going to quickly go over the main key differences first. And if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. I'm going to have lots more gear content like this, and I'm going to have a video for every single day on the Continental Divide Trail. So to start off this video, I'm going to cover those key differences. So if you've already seen those videos of my Arizona trail gear, I'll just quickly cover all the differences with the Continental Divide Trail gear. And if you're new here, please do subscribe. I'm going to have lots more content like this, and I'm also going to have a video for every single day on the Continental Divide Trail, which is going to be pretty soon. So the main differences are that there are grizzly bears on the Continental Divide Trail, and there could also be a lot of snow in Colorado, and there could also be a lot of bugs in wherever, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana. There could be a lot of bugs on the trail. So there are some key differences there. And so I'm going to be bringing with me bear spray. This is my bear spray right here. I'm also going to be bringing an ursack, which is a Kevlar bag, and I'm going to show you that. It's in my pack. I'll show you in a minute. And that's for protection of my food at night, to keep it away from bears. And I'm also going to be bringing a bug net to go underneath my tarp, and a head net for if there's loads of bugs when I'm hiking. And also when I'm in Colorado, I'm potentially going to need an ice axe and microspikes. So those are the key differences, and I'm going to go over all that. I'm going to try and cover this all pretty quickly to ensure the video isn't too long. First of all, the shoes that I'll be hiking in. I'm going to start off the trail in Vivo Barefoot Primus Trail FG. These are the same type of shoes that I wore on the Arizona trail, except these ones are brand new and they're very minimalist, barefoot shoes. They worked really well for me on the Arizona trail, so I'm sure they'll work well for me at least in New Mexico. When I reach Colorado, I may consider getting Ultra Lone Peak 5s, just because if I'm trudging through the snow for a long time, my feet might get quite cold in these. Feet will probably still get cold in Ultras, but it also might be easier to wear microspikes on Ultras rather than these. So a little bit of the footage got messed up, so I'm just filling in the gap right now. And so I'll just mention, after the shoes, the socks that I'll be wearing are darn tough merino wool socks. They're pretty common that people use them. I'll be wearing Lululemon shorts. Those are just kind of like good sportswear shorts. And I'll be wearing a Columbia Silver Ridge hiking shirt. And you can see the Columbia Silver Ridge shirt in my Arizona trail videos, and you'll be able to see it in the CDT videos. I'm not wearing it now, but the Columbia Silver Ridge shirt is good for like sun protection and bug protection, but you can also just roll up the sleeves and like unbutton it a bit when it's really hot. Also can put the collar up to protect the back of your neck from the sun. And yeah, it's a good shirt. It dries pretty quickly and also like wicks sweat quite well, and is durable. If you go through any like thorny, brushy areas, it's quite durable. And then moving on to the pack is a Palante Pack Ultralight. It's apparently just a 26 litre pack, but I think 26 litres is just the main body of the pack. And then when you include the mesh and the side pockets, it's probably a little over 30 litres. But yeah, I use this pack on the Arizona trail, and I'm planning to use it on the CDT. I really like these front pockets. I keep a Garmin Inreach here. The Garmin Inreach is just like an SOS device, and I generally don't use it that much. But if my phone dies or runs out, runs out of battery or breaks, then I can use this for navigation as well. And then if anything goes wrong, it has the SOS function. I'll also be tracking myself on it. And then sometimes instead of the Garmin, like sometimes I have the Garmin like in the mesh at the back of the pack, and then right here I'll have my phone instead. So sometimes I keep the phone here. And these mesh pockets are really good. Like they hold the, whatever is in there holds really well. So I often keep my phone in here. This is a Samsung Galaxy S10e. I use this for filming on the Arizona trail and also for navigation. But the camera that I'm going to be using on the CDT is this one, and this is a DJI Pocket 2, and it's quite a small, light camera. It actually weighs like less than my tarp, maybe like 4 ounces or 5 ounces, and I might frequently keep the camera in one of these pockets instead. I'll just kind of figure out what goes best in the pockets. I keep the bear spray here as well, so when I'm carrying bear spray, it needs to be really easy, quick access. To use the bear spray, you like pull this off and then push down. But yeah, having it in this pocket is really nice. I've done this before. It's just like super easy, quick access. So yeah, the pack is really nice. It's got a big stretchy pocket at the bottom, and so I keep a lot of food in there, and so I can eat snacks. Like I can just, as I'm walking, grab a snack out, eat it, and then on the other side there's a little hole where you can put the wrappers, so you don't have to stop to eat. And the mesh pocket at the back of the pack is really big, so I can fit a lot of food in here, and I can also put like maybe my rain jacket in there when I'm not using it, that kind of thing. The side pockets are good because you can really like cinch them down, so if you have something small in there, then yeah, it can get nice and tight so it's not like moving around all over the place. But normally I keep my water bottles in the side pockets. And yeah, the top of the pack is it's got this buckle, and it's really easy to just quickly release it, and you can also just kind of fill the pack up way more. So right now there's no food in here, but when there's like 5 days of food, this will be much more filled out. I also will keep water bottles in these side pockets. This is just a 1 liter smart water bottle, but I'm figuring I'm going to bring about a 5 liter capacity, maybe even 5.5, just to be safe when it's really hot and dry in New Mexico. So part of that water capacity is actually going to be part of my filtering system. So I'm going to be using the Sawyer Squeeze. I found the B3 was a bit annoying on the Arizona trail because it clogged up. So I'm going to be using a Sawyer Squeeze, and I'm going to be using this, how's it pronounced? It's either knock or C-knock. Anyway, I'm going to be using this bag, which is 2 liters. So I can fill this bag and put the Sawyer Squeeze at the bottom, and then you can just like squeeze the water out. I wouldn't normally use this, but it's good just for like the extra water capacity. So I might have like 2 1.5 smart water bottles, which is a 3 liter capacity, plus this is a 2 liter, so it brings me to 5 liters. And yeah, I want to make sure that I have lots of water because it's obviously going to be really hot in New Mexico. And the rain jacket that I'm going to be using is what I'm wearing right now. This is a Frogtogs rain jacket. This is actually the woman's version. I got the woman's large, and even the large is a little bit short. Like I'd prefer it when a little bit further down, but overall it fits pretty well. The Frogtogs jackets are always really baggy, so anyway, I got a woman's large just because the men's were out of stock. So it has this little pink bit on it instead of green or blue or something. But yeah, Frogtogs jacket is good. You know, it has a good hood that you can, you know, cinch down, and has like elastic cuffs, and yeah, it should keep me dry. And the only thing with the Frogtogs jacket is it isn't very durable, so it could rip. If that happens, I'll replace it. It's a very cheap jacket. Now moving on to inside the pack. First of all, let me show you, this is adjustable at the top. So when there's a lot of food in the bag, this will be much more filled out, and I'll also have food probably in this mesh pocket and in the bottom. So usually near the top of my pack, if I'm not wearing it, I would have my hat. This is an Sunday afternoons ultra adventure hat, and this is basically just for sun protection, you know, covers my whole face and back of the neck. And also if I have a bug net on, then it works really well, keeps the bug net away from your face, and yeah. And then also usually near the top of my pack would be my Puffy Jacket. This is an Enlightened Equipment Torrid, and it is a synthetic Puffy Jacket. I've used this a lot in the past, used it on the Arizona trail, keeps me warm, it's pretty good. One thing I wonder about is if I'm going to want more layers when I'm in Colorado. It might be quite cold there, so potentially I'll pick up a fleece and maybe some like long johns or like kind of like tights or whatever. But we'll see, I'll make that decision later. So near the top of my pack would often be the ursack, and this is a Kevlar bag which I mentioned before, which is for protecting your food from bears at night, and basically you can tie it to a tree. I like to try and get it high on a branch, but if not, you can tie it around a tree trunk, and basically because it's Kevlar, the bears can't get into it. They could crush up your food, but they won't actually be able to get to the food. And I'm not going to be using this for the whole trail. I'm going to pick this up later on. So the base weight of my pack is going to fluctuate on the Continental Divide Trail. And so in the title of this video, I don't have it figured out exactly right now, so I'll put it in the title and I'll put it in the description box below, and I'll put basically what the base weight is in New Mexico and then what the base weight could become in Colorado and beyond that, depending on, you know, grizzly country or, you know, lots of snowpack in Colorado. So the gear will fluctuate actually on this trail, and so the base weight of the pack will fluctuate. But yeah, this is protection against bears. And also inside here I use an OP sack. This is the 12 by 20 inch, I believe, and so it fits quite nicely inside the ursack. And that is an odor-proof bag to keep the smell from, you know, traveling around, so bears and other animals don't sniff out your food as well. And then near the top of the pack as well is some other pieces of clothing, including a buff. This is just a generic buff that I've had for a long time. I often sleep with this buff on, kind of have it over my head with just my face showing, or sometimes I hike, like, you know, early morning, late evening when it's a bit cold. This is a bug net, or like a head net, bug net, you know. So this will go over my head when there's loads of bugs. I don't use it a lot, it's only when it gets really bad, because mostly when you're moving, you're all right, but if you want to like stop and sit for a minute, you might need to pop it on. And like I said, with that hat, it'll keep the head net like away from my face and not touching the face. And then these are wind pants. These are Enlightened Equipment wind pants. So I'm just going to be wearing shorts most of the time, and when it's cold, especially with a little bit of breeze, I'll pop these on as well. And then here is the bug net. This is, what type of bug net? Oh yeah, Nano Mosquito Pyramid Net, made by Sea to Summit. You can see there, I don't know if you can read that, but yeah, this is a bug net which I can basically, it's actually really light. I think it's similar weight to, usually I use a bug bivvy, but I like this because I can actually sit up inside it. So it might be a bit heavier than my bug bivvy, I can't remember, it might actually be lighter, it's very light. But I'll put the weight of everything in the description box below. There'll be a link called Lighter Pack, and in the Lighter Pack link you'll be able to see all of the gear, and you can click on each thing individually and it will show you how much each piece of gear weighs. But yeah, so I'll set this up under the tarp. I'm going to have a separate video coming out showing my tarp setup, and I'll show how I set this up underneath the tarp. But basically it'll like tie on somewhere on the tarp underneath, and it'll go down and it'll be like a pyramid kind of, and so I can sleep with the bug net above me, and you can actually sit up and do whatever you need to do. The next thing I'll show you is my shelter. I'm not going to fully unpack this right now, but like I said, I'll have another video showing my tarp setup. And I use a Z-Pax tarp, so inside this plastic bag is a Z-Pax 7x9 tarp, and then I also have a polycryo ground sheet. And these worked really well for me on the Arizona Trail, and I think I should hopefully be fine on the Continental Divide Trail. Sometimes you have to be careful with your campsite selection, choosing where you camp. But yeah, anyway, I'll do a separate video talking about campsite selection and pitching a tarp. And the tent stakes I normally use are MSR mini groundhogs, and those work pretty well. They're light but also hold very well. So I also have this little bag of like electronics and stuff. This is a Z-Pax dry bag, and so inside here will be also like my credit cards and like cash and my passport, and then there'll be, here's some charging cables, and the power bank that I use is Nightcore NB10000. I might actually get a second one of these, I'm not sure, just because I'm using a new camera, which is the camera recording this video right now, which is a DJI Pocket 2, and that might end up needing more battery power, so potentially I'm going to have to get another one of these. I'm not really sure, I'm undecided so far. And then, oh yeah, so the wall charger is Anker PowerPort Nano. This has quick charge, and that power bank also has quick charge. I also have toilet paper in here. I've got a little toothbrush and toothpaste, and yeah, just other like small miscellaneous items which mostly don't weigh much. For example, my little Swiss Army knife. This is a Victorinox classic, very small, has some good scissors on it, which I use for cutting my nails or like opening packages and stuff. And it also has tweezers on it if you get any splinters or whatever. Oh yeah, and then my flashlight is in here, and I use this flashlight on the Arizona Trail as well, and it is a Rovi Von A5X, and it has this pocket clip so you can clip it onto your hat, turning it into more like a headlamp as well. Has multiple brightness settings, and it's rechargeable so I can charge it with the power bank. Okay, only a couple more items to go, and one of those things is a sleeping pad. This is a Gossamer Gear Thin Light. It's only 1/8 of an inch. I slept well on this on the Arizona Trail. Even though it was often quite cold, I was actually fine at night, even in the cold temperatures, and it was fine on rocky ground. I just sleep well in general, so I was fine. I also fold it in half and use it as almost like a frame inside the pack. You know, it goes near my back, so it keeps everything from being all lumpy on the pack. And if there's a crazy amount of snow in Colorado and I think that I'm going to have to camp on snow, then I'll definitely get a different sleeping pad, because there's no way I'd camp on top of snow with this. It'd be too cold. And then my sleeping bag, or technically it's a backpacking quilt, is an Enlightened Equipment Enigma. The Enigma has a closed foot box, so where your feet are is enclosed, but the rest of it is more like open, more like a blanket rather than a mummy sleeping bag. And this is rated 20 degrees. It's 20 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like -5 or -6 Celsius. And I think that'll be plenty for the Continental Divide Trail. It was fine on the Arizona Trail, and it went down to like low 20s Fahrenheit for sure. So I also have, and this is more of a luxury item, this is a sleeping bag liner. This is a Cocoon sleeping bag liner, and it adds a bit of warmth to the sleep system, and also is just nice and comfortable, and means that I can wash this instead of washing the quilt. I don't really like washing down because, I don't know, I just want to be cautious with messing up the down and waiting a long time for the down to dry, so I'd rather wash that liner, which is easy to wash and dries quickly. And then everything in the pack will be in this pack liner. This is a Nilo Fume pack liner, and so if it's raining, I'll have everything inside here, and it will all be rolled up at the top, and so if it's pouring rain, this will keep all of my gear dry inside there. So yeah, that's everything. I'm looking forward to using all this gear. You know, most of this is stuff that I used on the Arizona Trail, and like I said, the key differences were the bug net, the head net, the bear spray, the ursack, and what I haven't really mentioned is I'm going to keep an eye on the snowpack for Colorado, and also see when I'm kind of arriving in Colorado. And in northern New Mexico, I'll make that decision of whether I need to order a ice axe and microspikes. There's a town in northern New Mexico where people normally send that to and pick it up before you reach southern Colorado. And so if the snowpack is really high still, which it looks like it's a below average year, but if I need that stuff, then I'm definitely going to bring it. The Palante pack is actually set up for using an ice axe, so it has this little loop down here, and a lot of packs have this loop where you put the ice axe through, and then it just keeps it. You can then like clip it up here, and so when you're not using the ice axe, you can clip it on the pack. I was thinking of getting a Petzl, I think it's called a Petzl Ride or something like that. I'll put it in the description box below, the one I'm thinking about getting. And the microspikes are Cartula microspikes. I'll put that in the description box as well. So I'm undecided whether I'll need them. I feel like it's likely I will, and if I'm unsure, I'm definitely still going to get them. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And so the base weight, like I said, is going to fluctuate depending on the gear that I'm carrying. All right, so that's it. That's everything that I'm planning to bring with me on my through hike of the CDT. And like I said, the base weight is going to fluctuate. In New Mexico, it will be at its lowest, and then it will increase depending on microspikes and ice axe in Colorado, and then it will definitely increase with the ursack and the bear spray and the bug net and stuff. Well, I'll bring the bug net the whole way, I think, but the ursack and the bear spray will definitely be in grizzly country. So yeah, if this video was useful to you, please do subscribe. Like I said, I'm going to have lots of videos, a video for every single day on the Continental Divide Trail. So see you guys on the CDT or in the next video.